Hey, this is Liz, and you're listening to the SouthCack Syndicate Podcast.
Episode 21. My name is Jared Cutterman. This is
Kyle Voss.
Welcome to the podcast.
And I guess this is kind of our end of the year wrap up, I guess is what we're going to call this, right?
Yeah, 2022 is coming to a close.
Yep. We got some big things we want to do next year. We're going to kind of let you guys in on that.
You know, we started this thing, our first launch was July 20th.
Did you look it up?
Yeah, this year, episode 1 with Hugh Nicolaisen from Arkansas.
And I'm guessing it was probably like 26 weeks ago, probably exactly half a year maybe. Because we're 21 episodes in, but we missed a couple along the way.
Missed a couple due to hunting trips and holidays, etc.
Yeah.
But overall, we've been pretty adamant about making this happen on the weekly, so we continue to do that.
So if you're listening to this, usually they drop on Friday because of the holidays. I'm guessing this dropped, today's Wednesday when you're listening to this, if I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Wednesday after Christmas. Yeah. Right before the New Year, so it's perfect timing. Hope you all had great Christmas. Didn't get too cold. I know here in, I think they're expecting single digits for tomorrow.
Yeah. The last I saw was like 8 for Saturday, but wind chills are super high, or opposite, super low. So we're looking at 11 for Friday, 9 for Saturday.
Yeah, Friday before Christmas, Saturday before Christmas.
Yeah, 16 on Sunday. So
me and Jay were just sitting here talking. Well, we've probably spent the last 2 hours just kind of all over the place, which is what we usually do when we get together, which is good and bad. You know, when we get together, we're all over the place, but sometimes it doesn't make the best podcast content when we're all over the place. So we try to kind of get that out of our system before we even get on the mic. But we talked about the fact, we have some properties, and it's like game time for us because it's like, man, if you got any external faucets or water lines, they're done for tomorrow.
Yeah, gonna be a long 48 hours.
Yeah,
and then it warms up to a beautiful 16.
I've got my main water tap thing by the door, so I'm ready to go.
You know, I looked at the weather in Liberia today, or outside of Costa Rica, and it was 87 degrees.
Yeah, like, what am I doing?
I think I'm gonna head back in February for the month.
Sweet.
So I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see. But
sweet.
2022 has brought a lot of exciting things for us personally, a lot of exciting things for you personally that we've heard about via our email, etc. But there was some transactions that we've sold, we've bought. I jumped in and got into crypto after Kyle just kept bashing me on podcast after podcast. So
I was going to bring that up. He got into crypto. See, for those of you that have listened to several episodes, especially those ones that have crypto on them, Jared and crypto for me is kind of a catch-22 or like a love-hate because, obviously I want him to be educated, not miss the bus per se, in the new technology coming down the road. But you have to know Jared.
Yeah.
He comes in today here in the studio. He lays on the couch and he looks at me and he goes, dude, my crypto's down.
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up.
Leave it alone.
Like last week it was like, dude, I'm up. I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to be a wild ride. Brace yourself, son.
Yeah, I would want my money back.
Yeah.
No, that's good. And the tech, we went through Coinbase to put that up. So next year we'll get, updates throughout. We've got a little bit different structure set up for 2023. We're excited about. We'll have a new backdrop here before our January podcast. A lineup of some different guests, different topics.
That's right. We hope to kind of revamp the studio a little bit for those that are watching on YouTube. And if you're not watching on YouTube, if you like podcasts on YouTube, we invite you to go check that out.
Yeah, you just search SouthCack Syndicate Podcast on YouTube, and we ask that you follow along. If you're watching it, you gain some value, subscribe to us. If you're listening on the podcast itself, subscribe to us, whatever platform that you choose to listen to.
My challenge is trying to figure out what the title of this podcast.
We'll get there.
You think so? We'll figure it out.
It could be end of year basics. Yeah. I'm not sure. It's 2023 so exciting, right? We may start a Patreon account where you get to buy us a drink at Weston Co Tap Room.
There you go.
Live during the podcast.
We can tell you every episode who the drinks are from.
Yeah, we'll come up with some different sponsorship packages.
Mr. Michael Johnson from Idaho bought us these beers today.
Yeah. Our furthest away listener, which today we saw Sweden or Switzerland pop up, and then continental U.S., Seattle is a huge player. So Seattle, thank you so much for listening.
Seattle and New York.
That's insane.
Odd for us. We're just some country boys.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll give that breakdown. It goes Seattle, New York, Clemson.
Clemson, Greenville. When it goes to cities, top 5, I think,
so
are
just going by location. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going by cities. So top 5 are Seattle over the last 90 days. Seattle, New York, Clemson, Greenville. And then there was one more in there that was local. Charlotte.
Yeah. That's insane.
So
I thought it'd be like, I didn't see the Seattle and New York coming.
I will tell you, our local folks that listen, Seattle and New York are beating you.
Yeah, by a long shot.
It should be the Clemson. If I had to guess, those folks that listen to the people we know that listen locally, Walhalla, Seneca, they probably show up under Clemson. If I had to guess, it's probably not like every little small city.
Maybe
it's like more of a regional. They pick a city that kind of encompasses the cities around it, and So anyway,
yeah. So if you want to get a jump on sponsorship for next year, email us. We'll put together a rate card for what first quarter rates are going to be.
Yeah.
And give you some demographics. And if you think it's a good fit, then we'd love to talk to you.
SouthCackPod@gmail.com. You can hit us up. And also guest. So we're always looking for new guests, interesting, anything that, kind of throw ideas our way. If you know somebody or you are that person, would love to be on the guest, maybe promote something you're doing. Send it to us. We can't guarantee we'll have you on, but we'd love to take a look at it and kind of see if it fits what we're after.
Yeah, you bet. If you want to recommend somebody as well, you can do that via email as well. Provide us some who and how to get a contact information to them, or if you're going to be the go-through, or however that works best for you. But I'm excited for the Patreon piece. I'm excited about the sponsorship piece. This is our 21st episode. I feel like we're passing that threshold of drinking age, so to speak, and we're gonna now that we're old enough, let's put it together. So you'll see probably in the first of the second quarter of next year, you'll see the apparel side really kick up because we're gonna bring apparel back.
So give them a feel of the whole SouthCack brand. Obviously, those folks that have been listening that don't know.
Yep.
They're like SouthCack Syndicate. They get that it's a South Carolina thing. The syndicate part is, us getting together with
common goals,
like-minded folks around business. Give them some. Let's just talk the story.
You're right, because we've always kept it separate. Yeah. We've never even talked about the apparel.
Tell them the whole story from the very beginning about the whole SouthCack.
So probably about in 2013. Yeah, 2013, I was still living in the Midwest, and Kyle and our great friend George were trying to figure out, we all got to do something. Let's find something to do together. And our buddy...
Well, let's back up just a little bit before that.
Our buddy Hugh was already doing Hugh wear.
Yeah, well, let's back up just a little bit before that. So me and Jared went to school together.
Oh, yeah.
We were not friends.
Not at all.
We weren't
friends.
We didn't really hate each other. Because I never really had hate for anybody.
I love everybody.
Yeah. But we weren't like the nicest to people. To each other.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it. Which, I mean, I'm not going to say that you were not nice to me because I never really had any interaction with you. But anyway, long story short, we went to school together. We knew of each other. But we didn't run the same circles. We were in totally different circles. Fast forward, we graduate. Fast forward, 5 years? Me and our mutual friend, George Adams, we were all out one night. I think you were maybe playing somewhere or something. Maybe. Long story short, they all ended up back at my house, hung out for a while, had a good time, and I was kind of like around Ketterman again for the first time in a long time, right? And then that was when you were still living here. Then you go out to the Midwest, you do the corporate life, right? I kind of do the same journey myself. I kind of go through the corporate world, do some stuff, create some companies. Like we we literally changed big time from the time that you were at my house that day.
You think?
Oh, huge.
Yeah, no doubt.
The funny thing is we kind of went down the exact same paths though.
Yeah.
Just in different parts of the country. So fast forward, I don't even know how many years it was. It had to be like 10 years or something crazy. Talking to G. George, call him G. Talking to G, and he's like, dude.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
I was like, let's call it SouthCack. Let's make a bunch of T-shirts and designs and just call it SouthCack. Because at that time,
Well, I was going to tell him about him, like, because
you go way deep.
well, no, I was going to make it quick. But G hits me up. He's like, hey, you need to get back together with Jared.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, let's do like a lunch. And I'm like, I know who Jared is. He's like, no. Things are different now.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's do it. So we get together. Me and you hit it off instant. Like, we're like, dude, we're talking business. We're talking this. We're talking that, which is why G wanted to put us together. Mm-hmm. All right. So then.
Makes sense.
You go back to the Midwest because you were just here temporarily at the time. We did lunch that time. Like, you were just here for a little while, maybe the holidays or something.
I don't even know if I owned property here then.
Yeah. You.
I don't know if I don't think so.
I don't think you did either.
Before the Lakers.
Yeah. So anyway, while we're together, while he's here for the holidays or whatever it was, we're like bouncing business ideas, and I'm one of those. Listen, I'm an idea guy, and I can get Jared excited on just about anything if I really want to. I got to be careful nowadays because I'll get him.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll get him excited, and then he like locks me in. Let's do it, and then I'm like, man, I don't know if I really want to do that now that I think about it. But anyway, so he goes back to the Midwest, and we're texting, like just bouncing ideas every other day or whatever. And I remember I'm laying in the bed. He goes, I get this text from him, and all it says is SouthCack. Mm-hmm. And this was about the time Hugh. Mm-hmm. This was at the same time that our friend Hugh, episode 1. If you want to go back and listen to it, he talks a lot about it. But he was in the apparel business. He kind of opened our eyes to what was possible at the time, right? And me and Jared are always looking at doing something together, along with George. He sends me this text, says SouthCack, and I think my reply was, man, that by itself could be its own brand. Yeah. And so that's kind of how it started. So we're like, all right, we're going to do an apparel company. It's going to be based around SouthCack, and and without going into it, me, him, and George kind of got it started. At some point, Jared ended up buying us out and kind of took the thing on his own. Partly because I was doing my own thing at the time. So I ended up starting my own apparel company called Kill Fab, which is more around the YouTube side.
I was living in another part of the country.
Jared was in another part of the country, and so it was just tough. But I mean, what's your tagline?
So today, we're from the mountains to the marsh.
Yeah.
So we are all geographically. There's 2 states that most people, even in New York or wherever outside of South Carolina, 2 state flags have the most state flag pride, in my opinion. Texas, number 1, has to be, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to say the word Texas underneath it for you to know that's a Texas flag.
Right.
And then South Carolina would be a number 2.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling somebody in the Midwest, they're like, well, I don't know if I believe that. And I was like, well, let's look up the state flag for Illinois. And it's like a kindergarten class.
Nobody's ever seen it.
Like, I'd never seen it. I wouldn't have. It was awful.
Yeah.
Absolutely awful. I think it had Illinois written on the bottom of it or something. But
especially in this state. Like, you can't go anywhere without seeing the crescent moon and palmetto tree.
I had it tattooed on my back.
Yeah. I mean, it is a big thing in this state. Everybody uses it. Matter of fact, a lot of people probably see that and don't even realize that has anything to do with South Carolina, but that is on the flag.
Let me tell you the story. We were in Gregory, South Dakota this year. And we stopped at a friend's house. We've made friends out there throughout the years. So a few counties over, we stopped at this friend's house, and there's a palmetto tree and a moon on the back of her daughter's car.
You're like, oh.
I was like, what in the world? This is South Dakota.
Yeah.
Not South Carolina. Yeah. So I was like, well, that's our state flag. She's like, oh, really? She just picked it up. Really didn't know what it was.
She just
thought
liked
it. Cool. It was glittery.
Yeah. It looks.
So I said, where'd you pick it up at? She's like, oh, Hilton Head. We love that place. Is that South Carolina?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you book your ticket?
Where did you fly into?
Where'd you think you were going?
Unless they're driving.
But still, I mean, you see the palmetto tree and the moon everywhere, and you know it.
It is iconic for sure.
No doubt. So that's where SouthCack, that's kind of how it started. And then I got in the apparel space a good bit, and then it just became too much. So I removed the apparel piece out of it and just went to hats and accessories. So hats are consumable. We make really cool, very, very high quality headgear, I guess you'd call it, for headwear. And so if you hadn't checked it out, SouthCack.com. We'll take you straight to it. You can shop right there on the website, and we will package it up and ship it out the door for you.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into the podcast. So, it just made sense for us to also name the podcast the same thing, right? Especially because we knew at some point maybe we kind of integrate the two back together.
Yeah.
Why build a whole separate thing when we could kind of do two in one? Which, speaking of that, you have licensed the name or had some kind of...
Yeah, we've got it trademarked for sure in several different categories. From the word SouthCack and the apparel company came, and then there's a tap room in Pickens that picked up the name SouthCack, and it's called SouthCack Tap Room.
Yeah.
It just works for South Carolina. The only problem I did when I created SouthCack was I put myself in a box. Now, because I love my state so much, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because if you're from South Carolina, I don't have to explain to you what SouthCack is.
Right.
I'm not gonna. You're not gonna find SouthCack in an outdoor store in Shreveport, Louisiana. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. But I pride myself on the love of this state so much that I'm fine with being just a South Carolina-based and South Carolina sales company.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the story of SouthCack. If you didn't know it, because you're a local and I would bet that most of the folks that maybe do know of you and SouthCack don't really know that story.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
I really like to be a faceless guy, believe it or not. It's
don't listen to him.
Never put my face on an album.
Listen, he is an entertainer
with it.
From way back.
So anyway, you can find SouthCack in Sunny Ann Mercantile, right below 300 West Main, and pick it up locally here in Walhalla, South Carolina, right on Main Street.
Sweet. Yeah, and if you're visiting, listen, and those folks that are not from this area, you're just listening to this on a random whim, or you're like a long-term listener. You just want to go check out a new place, and you think it'd be cool to kind of go to the place where these two country boys talk on a podcast.
There we got a couch you can sit on and watch us.
No, I'm not even talking about them, and not even necessarily inviting them to come hang out with us, but I'm just saying like, hey, man, I heard these guys on this podcast that talk about Walhalla all the time. I think it's pretty close to us. Just look up Walhalla, South Carolina on Airbnb. You could actually rent from Jared.
We've got plenty of Airbnbs. If you look at oconeyhospitality.com, you can find the Lofts over Main. You can find 500 or circa 1869, which is a house we have at the end of Main Street. Several Lake Kiwi homes, cabin in Long Creek, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
If you happen to stay in the Lofts over Main, the podcast is literally filmed right below where you're staying.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, like he says, you can get the SouthCack apparel right down the street. All of it happens right here in Walhalla. So anyway,
it's a growing little community.
That's right.
My
We're trying to do things here in Walhalla. You know what I'm saying?
Fastest growing municipality.
Should have worn my purple today.
Oh God, we're not at the high school. We're not at the school.
I'm just saying. So anyway, we I guess what all this goes back to is we really appreciate you listening. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate your support.
We appreciate you following. We appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and you hit that follow button where you're whatever platform you're listening.
That's right. Those the sponsors that have helped us out.
I really want to,
especially in the beginning when we're just pitching an idea.
Yeah. So
we're gonna have all these listeners, and then they're like, "What do you mean?
Well, how many do you have? Well, we hadn't launched yet. Well, so you have zero. Well, we don't exist yet, but
it's gonna happen. We promise."
So I thank Rhea. Megan for being our first two sponsors. Shane Smith, Allstate. Thanks for picking up the last couple episodes for the year here.
Weston Co Tap Room.
I
mean, I think they were an unofficial sponsor, but they do help us out a lot.
Well, we sure name drop them a lot. We're going to have to stop doing that unless they want to.
We need, next year, it'll be a new year.
Free beer contract.
That's right. So anyway, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate you listening. If you have anybody that you feel like needs to be on here, if you're in South Carolina and you want to be on here, or you know somebody that could really benefit from being on the podcast, we'd love to talk to them. Shoot us an email. And just help us spread the word.
Yeah, let us know some of your goals for 2023 too. You know, we talk a lot about accountability on this podcast, so we kind of want we'll come up with our own goals for probably the first year's episode, and we'll have a knockout guest that year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That episode? What date is that? Our recording date fall on? I hope it's not New Year's Day.
No, the first is.
Oh, thank goodness.
I think the first is like on.
Oh yeah, first is on a Sunday, so we're looking at Thursday the 5th. Yeah.
So we got time.
Oh, we got plenty of time. So yeah, Kyle and Jared here. Want to thank you. Thank you for listening.
Appreciate it. Do we want to get into anything else? We just want to end it right there.
Yeah.
What do we title this?
Actually, we title it End of the Year.
End of the year
podcast.
Yeah. Free stuff. Win something.
Oh, let's do a giveaway. Episode
Free SouthCack stuff?
Yeah. Episode 21. The first person to send us an email,
There you go.
we will ship.
Because they had to listen to it for this entire time too. So if they cut off early, they lost out.
We will ship a box of swag to your door.
All right, it's official. Title of the email:
SouthCack
contest giveaway or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That way we know it's not like a random email.
Yeah.
And just be like, hey, am I the first?
Yeah.
And if you are, you win.
And we'll respond back to you. No, or if we don't respond back to you, then you're not the first.
We'll respond back whether you win or not. Well, I promise you we'll let you know something.
That's perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, brother. 21 in the books.
At the end of 22, getting ready for 23.
That's right. That's right.
Happy New Year's, y'all.
See y'all.